And good morning. Welcome back to the Eat, Drink, Explore radio program on this October morning. It is 8:33 as we turn our focus to the libations you may choose to serve at an upcoming Halloween party. I'm your host, Randall White. Patty Pipern joins me in studio as well.
Good morning.
Good morning, Patty. So you've seen the punch with the dried ice fog, right?
Yes, indeed.
It's got that spooky kind of ghoulish elixir quality to it, right? That's the standard drink for Halloween parties.
Very
Isn't
common.
It?
I think so.
And then bars have kind of taken up on that theme. Now you can get any
drinks
time of year.
and things with little dry ice in them.
Right, exactly. It's kind of fun. But what if you're more of a true Californian at heart and you want to serve up some good wine at your event? Well, as it turns out, you have a couple of local choices appropriate for the occasion. Michael David Winery in the Lodi growing area has some very appropriately themed wines, including Seven Deadly Zins.
Right, that's a clever one. Very clever.
Sixth Sense Syrah. That's not an easy one to say 10 times fast, but I've tasted it, and it's not bad. Also, Incognito, perfect for those of us in costume. In fact, I think their logo has the mask, like the masquerade party sort of mask on it. But in the Paso Robles wine growing region of the state, there are two wineries that fit the bill. We've got Chronic Cellars and also Ghost Cellars. And Jake Beckett joins us in studio. He is an owner and in charge of marketing at Chronic, and sleep deprived this morning because his 5-week-old decided it was a good night to be up, right?
Yay! Yep.
Hey, welcome into the studio here, Jake.
Thank you.
Great to have you here. Had a bottle of your wine recently. You're selling it at Costco? Yeah.
We do, yeah. They brought us on, which is awesome. You know, getting into that role from early in the Chronic Cellars label was really killer opportunity, and every year they bring in a little bit and
that doesn't
do
hurt.
really well with it. Nah, it's great. It's good exposure.
They're now the #1 wine retailer in the world.
I believe they have been, for a while. In the U.S., they've been killing it for years. Yeah, they definitely can move some juice.
They really can, and I've noticed that they tend to sell higher grade wines. You know, you don't typically see like the $2 chuck sort of thing there.
No, they from the get go, it seems like started bringing in good premium quality wines a long time ago, whether it was in their wood box selection or on the floor and pallets. So
it's a nice association. You know, when people say, "Oh, I saw your wine at Costco," it doesn't really have the same punch as I saw your wine at Walmart. You know.
Yeah. No. Right now, I think people understand that the price is right because of the way they do their business. So they don't get really upset about that. You know, the other smaller retailers, they can still carry your brand, and people understand that Costco is close to wholesale, and that's why it's a club and why you get those great deals.
Yeah.
And you're being associated with quality brands. So being there, for me, I'm all over it. I love it.
We got a bottle. I think it was around, what was it, like $9 or $10, Anthony? Seven something?
Probably $9.99 was the least expensive they've done on the Purple Paradise.
That's what it was, the Purple Paradise.
And I think it's probably around $11.99 now.
Yeah, it's very good, and it's one of those. It makes a good sort of everyday wine, like the one that you can have at the house and serve with your meal. But it's more appropriate for this time of year.
Yeah, we haven't been pigeonholed or anything like that, but we're definitely associated with with our Day of the Dead theme with Halloween also.
Yeah,
here.
you definitely have that kind of theme with the artwork on the bottles, which I think is really cool with the skull and all that.
Right, and we have some pictures from your Day of the Dead party that Ricardo can show for the people watching us online right now. This looks like a really sort of opulent event. I mean, you put a lot of effort into this.
It's good. We bring in Kramer Entertainment, which is a local company out of San Luis here. We light up the entire barrel room. We have photo booths, and if you like to dance, it's the party to be at. We got about 5 hours of just getting down and dancing in the barrel room, but it's all you can eat: tacos al pastor, sangria, beer, wine, of course, tons of wine.
Now, Day of the Dead is November 1st. Is that when you hold it?
No, it's October 27th.
Okay.
It's still got to be the weekend. It's got to fit on a weekend.
Yeah.
And it needs to be, well, we have children now, so it needs to be at a time when we can still do Halloween with our kids, or else I'll get in a lot of trouble.
Now, we have listeners in San Jose, Santa Cruz, Monterey, all the way down into Santa Barbara County. Where are you located for those people?
Well, in California, we're distributed here on the Central Coast and San Diego, and that's pretty much it. I've gone direct to a couple of retailers up in San Francisco and down towards the LA area. But other than that, we're distributed from Hawaii to Georgia.
Wow.
And I just opened up Japan, and I've been in China for 2 years. But just small amounts, just to get it out there, and sort of spread the love. So.
And to visit the tasting room, you're on Lake Nacimiento Road?
2020 Nacimiento Lake Drive.
There we go.
I think.
Yeah.
Lake Road, Lake Drive. Either way, head out towards the lake. You're going to see us on the right about 3.5 miles out.
Well, we also want to welcome to the program right now James Cooper. He is the owner at Ghost Cellars and joins us on the phone right now from New York. Good morning to you, sir.
Hey, good morning, guys. How's everything going?
It's going well. We've got that beautiful California weather here, and that is probably my first question for you. You're based in New York. How did you end up starting a winery in California, and specifically in the Paso region?
Great question. I graduated from the University of Florida and had an opportunity to come out and work in technology in the 90s, and the wine bug bit, and when it bit hard. And started to make friends in the wine business, and then one thing led to another. While work, unfortunately, brought me back to New York, the wine roots and the affliction had already taken, and started the winery in Paso in 2009. And we had fallen in love with the area. I'm sure as Jake and the folks know, Paso offers some really unique things, from a climate and a terroir perspective, and it just, it's a great place. It's awesome. It brings us back every chance we get, and love being a part of the community.
So I have a question for you. How'd you come up with the name Ghost Cellars? What's that all about?
Great question. First off, Patty, happy belated birthday to you.
Thank you.
But we really struggled with the name. We tried everything under the sun imaginable, and it's interesting. The vineyard that we get our grapes from has an old dining car way out in the middle of nowhere. And to make a long story short, this boxcar was a speakeasy back, way back when alcohol was illegal, and Ghost Winery is a winery that existed before Prohibition, and they had to shut it down, but the facility still exists, and some of these have been fixed up over the years. Chateau Montelena is one up in Napa, and so we thought this is a nice way for us to kind of tip our hat to the history of the area, the region, of winemaking, and so it's not a ghost winery, but it's Ghost Cellars, and as you guys alluded, having a ghost and being associated with Halloween and everything else is not bad. It's a nice little mix.
Now, your wine is single vineyard, limited production. If somebody wanted a bottle or two to serve in the coming weeks, how would they go about making that happen? Or is it at this point they just couldn't do it? They'd have to plan for years ahead.
Yeah, we do it a little bit differently. When we started off, we had a lot of friends that were like, "Hey, we'd like to buy the wine. We're ready." And you're like, "Guys, it takes months and months in barrel." But the interesting part, with winemaking is once it goes into barrel, you have an understanding of what you'll have to sell. And so once it goes into barrel, we wait about 12 months, and then we allow folks to buy it. Even though we keep it in barrel for another 12, we say, listen, we have an idea. We're going to make about 300 cases, and, we open it up, make it available to, folks on our website, folks on our mailing list. And so we've actually just released, or should I say just, allowed folks to buy the 2011 vintage, which is awesome. We're just really excited about it. And we'll ship it sometime about this time next year once the heat passes, and that's where we are.
And so what sort of grapes are you growing?
Yeah, we're primarily a Cabernet-based wine. It is a Cabernet, which, as the law states, is more than 85% Cabernet. And then for the 2010 vintage, we have 86% Cabernet, 12% Cabernet Franc, and 2% Merlot. So it's we blend it based on the fruit we have available and what goes best together. But it's Cabernet.
I'll tell you what, it's delicious. I got a chance to sample it. What was that, about a year and a half a little more than a year ago, I guess it was, right? And I came to visit you up there in the Paso area, and we opened a bottle or two, and let me tell you,
Or two.
it was really delicious. And if you're watching online right now, you see some of the video from that trip. It was a fun one, and thank you for sharing that wine with me, James. And good luck on future vintages. Keep us up to date as you do. You contact me on a regular basis, and I appreciate that. James Cooper with Ghost Cellars joining us live from New York. Thank you, James.
Thank you, guys. Have a great day.
And back here in studio, we have Jake Beckett. He's an owner and in charge of marketing at Chronic Cellars. And you were saying that you're glad you haven't been pigeonholed as like this once a year sort of wine, and it's just about, spooks.
The ghoulish season.
Right. How do you,
Yeah.
as the marketing director, how do you keep that from happening?
In this case, by having really good wines, and we have a pretty dynamic portfolio of labels too. They're all sort of our edgy style, and we knew, it was a risk when we launched it and came out with it.
Yeah, how did you come up with the idea to go this route? Because typically wineries like to have this sort of chateau, and
something a little more sophisticated, and this seems to have an appeal for maybe a
fun.
Yeah, no, we definitely. My goal was I did national sales and marketing for the last 12 years for my parents' company, Peachy Canyon Winery.
Oh,
so
Peachy, yeah.
That's our family brand.
And that's more that sophisticated kind of
elegant,
right.
and really geared towards an already established consumer base.
Yeah.
What I saw through sales and marketing, and what I learned from my dad and mom at that company was that it's really competitive, and there's a lot of different wines and a lot of different labels, and you got to sort of almost like compel people to buy it. Give them a good reason.
Yeah, Jake, I thank you so much for being here. Jake Beckett, Chronic Cellars. Go out and get a bottle for the Halloween season. Thanks for being here.
Come to the party.